everybody? Welcome back to Winamac Attack Hockey. I'm Dom DeBomb, joined by Matt the Brat Cleveland and Jake the Snake Armstrong. Today, we're breaking down the Stanley Cup Final Series between the Tampa Bay Lightning and your Montreal Canadiens, the Cinderella story themselves. And we're going to discuss here who deserves the Conn Smythe and will Montreal be able to make a comeback? Everyone is counting them out. People are like, there's no way they can win 4 of the next 5 games. But you don't know. Carey Price is a stud. He's shown enough, I think. But let's get into it, and be sure to subscribe. All right, hey. Montreal Canadiens are down 2-0 in the series to the Tampa Bay Lightning. They've lost both games on the road, but they're going back home to Montreal, where the tickets are a little out of control over there price-wise, but the price is right over there in Montreal. Carey Price is an absolute legend. So, guys, let's just start by talking about Montreal, and if they can make a comeback, their stadium, keep in mind, will not be full capacity at all. Their fans will be limited, so the energy there at home is not going to be the same as Tampa got to have. So that's going to be an interesting thing to talk about here. But Jake, let's start with you. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they're a great team. They're showing it right now. Montreal, though, has been a great surprise in the playoffs. Do you think a comeback is possible here, or do you think Tampa's locked it up and potentially going to sweep these guys?
All right, so first off, you mentioned attendance. It sucks that they can't have as many fans as possible cheering them on here, because who knows if they're going to get here again anytime soon. But this is the environment they played in all playoffs. It hasn't been a problem so far. So I don't think that that's going to be an issue for them. I do think being down 2-0 is a huge issue. But I think you look at Carey Price, he hasn't had a good first 2 games. Game 1, what time is it? 5 past Carey Price. Game 2, 3 goals against there too. So not very good performances from Carey Price, who we're used to seeing give up like 1 or 2 goals a game. I think he's really going to turn it up for the rest of the playoffs. I think Montreal can bring it back at home and tie the series up at 2-2. But ultimately, I think that once they go back to Tampa, Tampa's going to take that and kind of dominate the rest of the series. So I'm going to say Tampa Bay in 6 games.
All right, fair prediction there. I think you hit both sides pretty well. Matt, let's go to you. Do you think Montreal is going to complete the Cinderella story? In a previous vid, when we did our bracket predictions, Matt had Montreal going to the Final Four. The rest of us kind of laughed at him. And look at him now. Do you think that Montreal is going to be able to complete the story here?
Yeah, if I was a betting man, I'd make a crap ton of money. But anyway, I really think they do. I think with how crazy their playoff run has been, it wouldn't be a shock to me if they came back and brought this back, and I could see this going to 7. I think either way, whether Tampa or Montreal wins, I still think it's a 7-game series, even with the 2-game lead Tampa has, with the momentum that Montreal can start. Once they start winning, it's hard to get them off that train. So, and with a guy in net like that and Carey Price. And another thing about the attendance, I mean, yeah, they're going to have low attendance, but with those ticket prices, they're probably not going to lose any money, so that's all good for them. And at that point, they got really good players there. They got a really good group of young players that can bring it back. And the good thing about it is, it seems like so far the moment hasn't been too big for them. They've been able to claw it back. If it wasn't for a godlike performance in Game 2 like Vasilevsky, I think Montreal had a really good chance of tying the series up there. So it's just got to figure out how to find a way to get through Tampa. And my final prediction, I think I have Montreal winning in 7. I do.
Nice. So we got 2 sides here. We got Tampa in 6, Montreal in 7. Look, I want to say Montreal's going to win, but Tampa Bay is playing super well right now. But do I count Montreal out? Not at all. I think anything is possible. They've proven themselves. I don't care what the haters say. There's still doubters on Montreal saying they don't deserve to be here. Yes, they do. They deserve to be here. They beat some high-quality teams to get here. And Toronto, Vegas, etc. Okay? They've definitely proven everybody wrong. So, Montreal fans, you've got to be proud about that. And also stop flipping cars and stuff. I mean, come on. Have some dignity here. But hey, look, it's a heck of a time over there in Montreal. But let me just say this. Montreal hasn't had a lead against Tampa. And that's where they struggle. So they need to come out in these next couple games, get ahead, get a goal, and they've shown that they can play really well with the lead. Carey Price is a different animal when they are ahead on the scoreboard. He's just a freak athlete to begin with, all right? But look, my honest prediction, Jake, I agree with you here. I think Tampa, with a 2-0 series lead, it's hard to come back from, and I think Tampa's just a really, really good team with a lot of depth. They're also $18.5 million over the cap space, but we got to stop using that as an excuse here. I mean, they're just a good team. Let's just face facts here, and Montreal is going to have to fight really hard to come back and win the series, and I don't know if they're going to be able to pull it off, but I'm not going to count them out. I really like Montreal. I think they've, like I said, they've proven themselves. So, hey, but on that note, guys, the Conn Smythe is going to be an interesting conversation because even if Tampa, wins the cup, you still got to consider Carey Price to win this thing, right? I mean, who are your guys' predictions? Who do you think is going to win it? Who do you think is going to be in the conversation? Maybe a runner-up here? Matt, let's go to you.
Well, I have two scenarios on if either situation happens. If Tampa wins, I think it's got to go to Vasilevsky. I think goaltenders they really haven't got the respect they deserve when it comes to the Conn Smythe. There's been some incredible goaltenders put up amazing performances in the playoffs, in the Stanley Cup final, and they haven't gotten a reward for that. And I think this year it changes, especially if Tampa wins with Vasilevsky. And I think both the same case for Montreal. With my prediction with them winning in 7, I think that comes on the back of Carey Price. And I think if they win, he's really the odds-on favorite to win there, almost unanimous at that point. Mm-hmm. So those are my picks.
Jake, how about you? Who do you think's getting the Conn Smythe this year?
All right, so yeah, I think you stole all my material at the beginning of this. I'm picking Carey Price. No matter what happens, he's my odds-on favorite to win the Conn Smythe Trophy because there's not a chance Montreal gets here without Carey Price. He was injured most of the regular season. He only played 25 games. Montreal finishes 18th in the league. He comes in for the playoffs. They're in the Stanley Cup final because he's led them with a .926 save percentage and a 2.22 goals against average. Just insane numbers. The saves he makes are incredible. Like, it's not just like weak shots fluffing his stats. He is a brick wall, like literally a brick wall. And I think he should win the Conn Smythe no matter which side wins, even if Montreal loses. And if Matt's situation comes true where Montreal does win the Stanley Cup, I think he too will be out in the street flipping police cars. And we're just going to let him do it because he's fantastic. If it doesn't go that way, my second pick is Braden Point, who I think should have won it last year when he was robbed by Victor Hedman. Because last year he had 33 points in 23 games. This year he has 23 points in 20 games. Not quite as great of a season, but I think you have to make up for that robbery last year and give Braden Point the Conn Smythe.
Do you guys think that Kucherov is going to be in the conversation? Because he is a star player in the league, and that tends to, get you awards. Even despite if you have the most points on the team or the most goals on the team in the postseason for the Conn Smythe Trophy. Jake, do you think that Kucherov is going to be in the conversation?
He's in the conversation for sure, but Braden Point has double the goals and not too many fewer points. Kucherov does have more points than Point, ironically, but I think it's still, you have to look at Point's goal production, and he's just been dominant. But it would be interesting. I don't think anyone else has played 0 regular season games to come in and win the Conn Smythe in the playoffs. That would be interesting.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Matt, do you think Kucherov has a shot at this, or do you think Vasilevsky and Point deserve it much more than Kucherov?
Well, I think definitely the goaltenders deserve it more than anybody else in this series with how good they've been. I mean, we're coming off a game where Vasilevsky had 42 saves in the win. So, I mean, with some of these goaltending performances, I still think it's hard to put a forward or a defenseman ahead of them right now. And it could change, obviously. I think Braden Point's a very good point there, Jake, in bringing in a guy there for Conn Smythe. And I think, Kucherov definitely has to be in the conversation. I think he's a dude who, when he's on the ice, he definitely makes an immediate impact. He sits right there on that first line, and he gets stuff done. He's really the playmaker that they need, and he's the guy that carries their offense, and you always got to consider a guy like that.
Matt, I like your point about goaltenders because people will say in the National Hockey League and in the sport of hockey in general, no matter what level you're on, goalies can win or lose you a hockey game. They can win or lose you a playoff series. And the only award that they typically get is the Vezina. And that is just for goalies in particular. And other than that, they really don't get much recognition. Most of the time they get, oh, why didn't you make that save, from an angry fan that they didn't make a save. And so I like your point. I think goalies don't get the credit they deserve, and especially those like Price, Vasilevsky in this Stanley Cup, because everyone is watching them right now. When you're talking about the goalies in the Stanley Cup final, and honestly, mainly the goalies, like, yeah, you talk about Point, Kucherov, Stamkos, and their dangerous power play, but like Carey Price is the headline for the Canadiens. Vasilevsky was a Vezina finalist. I mean, you know there's something special going on there. Jake, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, Vasilevsky's a great goaltender as well, but he's still no Carey Price. I think Vasilevsky goes home at night, he takes off his 2020 Stanley Cup Champions ring, tucks it under his pillow, and goes to bed and dreams of becoming Carey Price, because Carey Price is just the best goalie in the world.
Yeah, I mean,
I will want to jump in here real quick. I think one thing we have to consider here is that, I mean, at least Vasilevsky has a championship ring. That's one thing he does have over Carey Price. And that's one thing that maybe Carey Price will be able to rectify this year, but with the way that Tampa's playing, it's going to be really tough.
Yeah, I mean, let's just say one thing that we can all agree on. Carey Price deserves to hoist that Stanley Cup. He definitely deserves to hoist that cup, and I hope he gets it. I really do. I am not ashamed to say in this video that I'm rooting on the Canadiens. Sorry, Tampa. That's just how it is. I'm rooting on the Canadiens. I love their story, and I love Carey Price. I mean, I love watching him play. He's super athletic, and he's one of a kind. He truly is one of a kind, and he's not going to get any younger. And Jake, like you said, Montreal, who knows when they'll be back? They could come back within next season even. Who knows? But like you said, they finished 18th in the league. So they've got some work to do. Tampa, on the other hand, they've got talent, and it's obvious they're in the Stanley Cup back-to-back seasons. So, guys, are there any other thoughts as we finish up this video talking about Conn Smythe and Stanley Cup results?
I mean, really, I'm just glad that Vegas didn't make the final, because now there's no chance that any of those guys can win the Conn Smythe. So, you know, I don't care who wins at this point, as long as it's not anybody on Vegas.
Which it is not going to be. Sorry, Vegas fans.
I'm not sorry, Vegas.
All right, hey, thanks guys for tuning in to another video of Winnemac Attack Hockey. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and let us know who you think is going to win the Conn Smythe, and let us know how you think that this Stanley Cup final is going to play out, because trust me, it is one that we are going to remember for a very long time. Thanks guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Winnemac Attack Hockey.